What's going on, world? Brand new episode of Royal Key there on your screen. I'm your host, George Kill, and I'm here at the UMASS Hockey facility with Coach Carville. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. I'm happy to be here. This is my first time in Western Massachusetts. This facility is amazing, to say the least. One of the best hockey facilities in the country, and you guys are a rather young program. Tell me about just UMass Hockey and its tradition and history.
The state of Massachusetts is known for hockey. It's a hockey state. There's a couple in the country. We're proud to be one of them, but the program here is relatively young. It's about 30 years. This will be my 7th, so I've been a small part of a shorter history of college hockey.
And for those outside of the state who don't know, you guys are East champions back-to-back, right?
Yeah, I came here. When I got here, the program wasn't in a great state, and the hope was just to build and do things the right way, and that's in every regard. And one of the ways was to grow our facilities, and we've taken huge steps over the last 5 years. Very proud. I think we have one of the top facilities in the country, and we'll see so today.
Awesome, and you guys worked with Jones Architecture on doing so. You had a hand in creating this facility as well. What is it about this picture in particular that you wanted people to notice and see?
This picture in particular, to that point, was the biggest moment in the history of the program, or my time anyways. And we were in the national semifinal game, and we beat Denver in overtime. And this number 2 scored the goal, and I just thought it caught a lot of things perfectly. Definite highlight in the history of this program.
Awesome. And then to the right of that, from where we're standing, you showcase your current roster in a very aesthetically pleasing way.
The thing about these plaques, they're individual photos. We want to be able to recognize each player. And when you look at the photos, they're all very professional, very classic. I'd like to say old school kind of presentation of each individual in the team.
Now, as we kind of make our way down this amazing hallway, you guys have branding, again, all over the walls. What was it about these pictures during this era right here that kind of stood out?
This picture in particular, it means a lot to our program. You see the players are all linked up. It's one of the things we do after big victories is we link up, and it symbolizes our culture and the unity of our team. Well, at this part, we wanted to recognize the championship teams that we've had over the last couple of years, and of course, the national championship is, that's the ultimate. And I thought this picture captured it really well. This is post celebration. As you move down the hall, you see just the team championships, the team success, and then goes into individual success and the development we've been able to do, moving a lot of players onto the NHL. And that's what we're here to do, make people better in every way, whether it's as hockey players, students, as just young men. That's our goal, is to develop in every possible way. We currently, I think, have 10 players playing in the NHL, and I think there's one of only 5 teams in the country that can say that.
Okay, Coach, what happens in here that you can tell on camera?
Yeah, well, this is where we start our day. Our guys will do skills on the ice, but then this is where they first see me. We come in here every day. My chance to bring them all together, messaging for the day, do some video, do some teaching, do a lot of communication with the players. So this is kind of where the heartbeat starts in this room, and then we carry it through the rest of the day, whether it's a practice or game day.
Theme-wise, pictures I see, victory, teamwork. Is that kind of what you were wanting to go with in here?
Yeah, I love this photo. Our rink with a full arena. Our rink holds 8,000 people, and the place was full, and we actually won this game with, I think, 3 seconds left. We scored, and that's the celebration of the goal. So I believe Mullins is the largest capacity arena in the East Coast, just over 8,000 people. We average, I think, close to 6,000. We usually get about 3,000 students, and this place is rock to me. It's the most exciting place to play in the East. And actually, the ice here is a little bit larger than an NHL sheet to me, which makes the game more exciting, gives the guys a little more space and time to work with. But ultimately, Mullins is a home ice advantage arena, and it's a joy to play here. We're extremely fortunate here at UMass to have not 1, but 2 sheets of ice for our players. So we do share the big rink with the basketball team, but for the most part, most days, we have 2 sheets of ice, and our practice facility is outstanding. It's right off our locker room, and right off of the practice rink is our own weight room. Not many programs can claim that they have their own weight room. Most schools have to share this facility, but we built this a couple years ago. It's great size, allows the entire team to work out simultaneously. We have, to me, one of the most outstanding strength coaches in the country, and another great resource for our program.
All right, Coach, this is like the crown jewel of the facility right here. What went into the design of this?
A lot. This was a long time coming. This was, as you said, it was the crown jewel project. It took a while to design, to fundraise. It ended up being a $2 million project, and it came out spectacularly. This is a recovery area, so it's just off our training room. So our guys can come in here and they put on these boots and they do different things to help with their recovery and preparation for play. So it looks like a lounge area. It's actually a functioning recovery area.
And now behind this, I guess that's where they can lounge a bit.
Yeah, the screen can be divided into 4 different sections, and so you can have 4 different shows going at the same time. But this is a very popular area, really attracts everybody. You come in here, guys are eating lunch, doing homework, just interacting with one another. And it's high functioning space because after games, we'll lay out all the food on the countertop. Guys can eat quickly after games. The ping pong table is a standard. It's funny from year to year. Some years it's used all the time. Some years it falls off. The year we won the national championship, I know the championship of ping pong was almost as important to some guys.
All right, Dan, Coach raved about the locker room, and I'm excited for everyone to see it. It's an amazing locker room. But first, I want to kind of discuss the functionality of this space. You guys work very closely with Coach in making this space what it is. How important was it to work with Coach specifically and not just the staff in general?
Well, I think that the staff was certainly involved as well, but since day one, Coach had a really strong vision for the space, and it's really our job to kind of make that come to fruition. One of the things that we talked about a lot is the flow from the practice ice, coming through from the space in here, where the guys drop their shoes, come into here, get dressed in the dry locker room, and then they kind of proceed down to the main locker space.
What is the purpose of a dry locker room?
So the dry locker room's really just to kind of get their street clothes off, get into their shells and everything, get their underlayers on before they head down to get their real gear on. So I think the dry locker's pretty simple, not too much different than your typical gym locker. There's some power up there for guys to charge their laptops and phones and stuff, and then you see they kind of just put their shoes and their street clothes in here, backpacks and stuff, and then it gets a little bit of ventilation. You got your nutrition center, the players' lounge space, all kind of open to the recovery area here. We wanted to make sure we gave a little bit of extra space to some of the corridor and the main circulation spaces. You get pads on, you're a big defenseman, right? You're coming through, you need some extra space. And then you've got your stick rack. So I think the materials in here were really important. We have a kind of CNC panel here that's decorative, but also super durable. That's a phenolic panel. The choice of using some of the black surfaces really helps hide any scuff marks or anything. And then you also have the branded maroon phenolic panel here, which is great to have for spaces with a lot of change in temperature and exposure to damage.
Now, this locker room, immaculate, by the way, Dan.
We looked at a lot of kind of oval and circular locker rooms as precedent images before we started the process. But the circular shape is really meant to have this room really feel less like a series of stalls, individual stalls, and really as a series of surfaces. The bench, the actual stalls feel more like they're part of the wall surface. And that idea was really from Coach Carvel to really have this space have a feeling of unity, kind of accountability, and that everybody's kind of sharing the same space, not a sense of individualism with each individual locker. And then you've got the wood surfaces and the nameplates that really just kind of wrap around the space.
So again, let's go to one of the individual lockers and kind of check it out. It's a lot much more complex than the dry locker.
Kind of starting from the bottom up here, we're a bit more sparing with the use of wood where, you can see it's out of the way. We've got this little angle on the bottom that keeps, skates from backing up and hitting and damaging the wood. And then we do have the wood element on the back of the seat rest here that's kind of protected by the cushion. And then we use it up at the top. Kind of everything in the middle here is made out of solid surface, stainless steel, and then the back panel is a phenolic panel engraved with this diamond pattern. So that really helps with the durability of the locker, that all the pads, the wet gear and everything kind of lives up in here.
Why does it not smell like a locker room here?
So that's a good question. So if you look behind the pads here, you've got these kind of routed out slots, same thing in each one of these bays here. All the air from the locker room gets pulled through these slots. up and out of the space. So if you look up at the ceiling, you can see there's some diffusers here that blow down warm air. So at night when they want to dry out the locker room space, you turn on the heat, blow it down through the space, and it pulls through the pads and out through an exhaust fan out of the building. And we can take a look in the inside here. The bench seats flips up. There's some extra storage in the base here, which is also ventilated. So there's a little open spot here for a trash barrel. Really important, right? Because guys are always taping their sticks, using wax and all the other things they use to get ready.
Okay, Dan, another one of the most unique aspects in this locker room is that video board. What is that used for and what is its purpose?
So it's a touchscreen video board. It replaces the whiteboard, which it kind of has that unclean look after a while, but with the digital screen, you can just touch right on it, and then it's like a giant tablet basically, and you can kind of undo your writing.
Last thing, Dan, finish the sentence. The UMASS Hockey facility is?
I think it's the greatest in college hockey.
Sports Dissected is a brand dedicated to providing fans a behind-the-scenes perspective on the sports that they love. Our cameras catch everything from the step-by-step creative process of how an NBA championship ring is made to an in-depth facility tour of the Golden State Warriors' $1.4 billion Chase Center. In a 6-year span, Sports Dissected has amassed over 65 million views and over 300,000 subscribers. To put it simply, we exist to expand sports enthusiasts' knowledge about the functionality, lifestyle, and creative process of sports.
I'm your host, George Kill.
I'm Leland.
It's your girl, Tasha Kwan.
And I'm sorry, you'll never see sports the same.